What's going on, guys? My name's Jake. I like to talk tunes, and today we're just here another sort of quick, sort of unplanned, more rambly video. My voice is getting better day on day. If you've seen my videos on my other channels, I've not been well the past about a week, so I'm getting there. I'm feeling okay-ish. This is a little preview to a video I've been wanting to make for a while. We're just going to talk about Knocked Loose today and how cool hardcore music is right now, which is pretty fucking insane. So the video we want to make for ages is about Turnstile and about how Turnstile made hardcore mainstream, brought hardcore to the mainstream. You know, they played Camp Flog. Now they now have a Converse collab. You know, the Glow On went absolutely massive. But we're not here to talk about Turnstile today. We're actually here to talk about Knocked Loose and how they have seemingly, not out of nowhere, because it's been happening for a while, but how Knocked Loose are now a mainstream band, which is insane considering this is what they sound like. If you're unfamiliar, Knocked Loose are a hardcore band, sort of ranging more on the metallic hardcore sort of sound, sort of more slam, very heavy, very sort of what's the word? They're definitely a harder band to get into. They're not like a starter band for people who want to get into hardcore. If you want to get into hardcore, you want to try and expand your senses a little bit, expand your range, expand your palette. I wouldn't necessarily say Knocked Loose is a band to start with. They're definitely on the heavier, sort of more inaccessible side of the heavier music and punk and rock and hardcore. But recently, they have been going insane. So just last summer, Revolver Mag put out a poll basically asking fans and readers of the magazine to rank the top 5 hardcore bands in the world right now. Probably because Turnstile kind of feel, I'd say, hardcore adjacent right now, and we'll explain why in another video when I do want to talk about Turnstile very, very in depth. And those 5 bands were Kubla Khan, Tsunami, Drain, Soul Glo, and of course Knocked Loose in one. And to just put in perspective how insane Knocked Loose are right now and their growth right now, their last single, Suffocate with Poppy, came out 3 weeks ago. The video is already sat on 1.5 million views, which is insane for a hardcore band. Let's look at, I'd say probably Drain are bigger than Soul Glo. Let's look at Drain's last single. Hello, Edit and Jake here again, or maybe for the first time, because I don't know where I'm going to place the other edit and cliff note I put in. Drain were maybe a bad choice there because Kubla Khan are also sitting on 1 million monthly listeners, but to put into context just how insane Suffocate has went, Kubla Khan, the video for Theory of Mind came out over a year ago. That's on 1.2 million views. So, yeah, Knocked Loose are different gravy. Yeah, so a song off Drain's last release, their album Living Proof, a song called Good Good Things, is sat on a little under 600,000 views in a year. That just goes to show the insane growth of Knocked Loose, which is mental because they are, as I mentioned, so inaccessible. So, I'm back here with my earphones on because Edit and Jake realised he missed out a couple of things. First of all, the Drain track I mentioned is it's kind of like a Descendants sort of homage, so it wasn't really a good one-to-one comparison. But if you look at any other tracks off that record, like FDS, or even if you go like earlier Drain, like California Curse, they are sitting on 120 to 400,000 views. And then if you look at some of the other biggest bands in hardcore on Spotify, I mentioned Knocked Loose having 2 million monthly listeners. That is more than Turnstile, who are making hardcore accessible. Turnstile are currently sitting on 1.37 million monthly listeners, and Knocked Loose, let me check here, are on 2 million flat. Bands like Skull and Drain are on 100k, which is really cool, but Knocked Loose are currently on a completely different planet. So yeah, back to regular video Jake. But what does this mean for hardcore as a whole? Neck Deep took Drain out on tour. That obviously puts hardcore in front of so many more eyes. Turnstile are on late night talk shows. Glow On went insane. That obviously opens doors into hardcore. Knocked Loose are going mental right now, and I think a massive thing, whether you like him or not, personally, I don't like his main channel. I think when he talks about and reviews music, I find it to be actually very off-putting, but I do think he is definitely a voice in the scene. Fantano, he gave Knocked Loose's newest album a 9, which is an insane amount of exposure for the scene. Knocked Loose are currently sitting on 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and that is just insane. They're just a really, really solid band, and they have been for ages. I imagine if you, like me, have been listening to Knocked Loose for a while, you discovered them back in around 2016, 17. I imagine you discovered them around 2016 when Laugh Tracks came out, same as me, when Billy No Mates was kind of going semi-viral in that sort of side of Twitter and Instagram, and obviously the Arf Arf Fun Counting Worms, the Bark, this. When everyone was talking about that, we all knew that Noctilus were very, very good, had what felt like a definite ceiling. But Noctilus are now in a spot where they're playing shows to 6,500 people. Noctilus are in a spot where their videos are getting millions of views in a very short time. And Noctilus are now in a position where they are one of the biggest rock bands in the world right now, which is fucking insane. This also just goes to show in a time when hardcore is becoming sort of massive again, and one of the few times that I've really found TikTok to be massively beneficial has come within the hardcore scene. I know it's not a lot, but there are 3,500 posts on TikTok with a Kubla Khan song, Theory of Mind. But it's all I could see on TikTok for like a week straight, and not just me, not just because I'm interacting with those kinds of TikToks and listening to those kinds of bands. People I know who'd never heard of them, who'd never interacted with anything like that, were seeing the silly Kubla Khan TikToks on their feed. And I just think now is a really, really healthy time for alternative music and for hardcore in general. Obviously the world is more open than ever. Social media, Spotify, we have a world of music and a world of discovery right at our fingertips, and I implore everyone to step out your comfort zone, find something, challenge yourself, something you might not think you'll like a Noctilus. Like I said earlier, I don't recommend necessarily jumping right into Noctilus, but you know, there's nothing wrong with trying to broaden your horizon, and if you don't like it, that's fair. But we live in a time now where there's so much new music and so much being thrown at you, and in a time where, you know, the TikTokification of the music industry is sort of actively harming pop music, in my opinion, which is something I could talk about for a very long time. You almost see the opposite of that, the inverse of that you're seeing the inverse of that in the heavy scene. Bands like Knocked Loose are just putting out a really, really good record. This newest record, I'm telling you, is absolutely incredible. The album's called You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To. It's 10 songs long. It's a little bit under half an hour. It's really incredible to me because the production on it is so clean, but it never loses its grit and its edge, which is a very hard balance to walk as a hardcore band. A lot of the songs also sort of feed into each other, so you don't really know when one is ended and one is began, and that kind of reminds me of a lot of the old like late 90s, early 2000s hardcore demos from a lot of legendary bands. It's just a really cool record, and it's just... There's no real point to this video. I'm just saying, it's very, very cool to see a band as cool as Knocked Loose do really well and play big shows. And hopefully this means more cool bands in that scene will break through. Hopefully we see another sort of revival of sort of heavier music again, and we can see these bands succeed and thrive, and you'll get to see your favourite bands make a living from their music, because it is cool when these bands be successful. They haven't sold out, and the fact that Knocked Loose have gone so viral with this record, and you know it's not even been out a week yet, so we're not gonna know it's like official, it's real chart numbers, but I mean it's gonna have its entry chart numbers. Let me check that. Yeah, in the UK upon its release, it went to number 18 in the album charts in the UK. We're still rambling here. We're still going on. Oh, another thing I saw, it sold out in a Target somewhere, which is really cool. I understand that Target probably didn't get in many copies of it, but the fact that it had sold out in a Target is insane. Noctilus are going to the fucking moon right now, and hopefully them in turn still will bring hardcore with them. Like I said, there's two ends of the coin on the hardcore spectrum, but it's very cool to see hardcore music do so well. So yeah, this video is like I said at the start, and as you will have noticed if you've got to here, it's been a lot of rambling, but I'm just talking about music being cool and cool music succeeding. Go listen to Knocked Loose, go listen to Suffocate, and go listen to that breakdown, and fucking shake your ass and have a great time. And yeah, find new music, and if you do decide to listen to Knocked Loose because of this video, and you've never listened to some hardcore before, get ready, strap in, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.